Welcome to the Reconnection Club Podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. In Part 1, Episode 177, I talked about the emotional impact of letters from estranged adult children. I compared them to precious jewels covered in stinging nettles, treasure that's painful to acquire. Working through your emotions about it is the first necessary step to processing a letter effectively. Today's episode assumes that you've already done enough of that work to be able to read your estranged adult child's letter without a lot of emotion and with a more or less rational eye. Test yourself. Read the letter again. If you need to pick the right time for that, then more emotional processing might be indicated. Read your child's letter enough times and shed enough tears that you can pick it up and read it any old time without tears and without going into a tailspin. Then it will be time to listen to this episode. With that foundation in place, here's the thought experiment I promised at the end of Part 1. Imagine you're walking in the neighborhood and someone backs their car out of their driveway, runs over your foot, and drives away. Your foot is broken. You manage to get to a hospital and they give you a cast and a pair of crutches. Over the next couple of weeks, you're in pain. It's very inconvenient to get around. You can't shower properly or drive at all. And you keep thinking about how this person just broke your foot and drove away. Do they even know what they did? So you decide to tell them. You go back and find them in their driveway, about to get into their car again, but they see you approaching and they comment on your crutches. So you tell them what happened, and they react in one of the following 4 ways. These are oversimplified, extreme, and idealized for the purposes of illustration, but pay attention to how you feel as you imagine yourself in these 4 scenarios. Number 1. When you tell the person they backed over your foot and broke it, they ignore you. They get in their car and drive away. What does it feel like to be ignored? To not even get a chance to share more of your story? Do you tell yourself it doesn't matter? Or do you feel hurt, angry, or sad, or something else? How likely are you to try again with them another day? Number 2. When you tell the person they backed over your foot and broke it, they get angry and say, "How dare you accuse me of being a bad driver?" You wait for them to say something else, like maybe they're sorry you got hurt, but instead they act like you're trying to hurt them with criticism. When you just wanted to tell them about your broken foot, how hard will you keep trying in the face of their anger to help them understand your pain? Number 3. When you tell them they backed over your foot and broke it, they burst into tears, cursing their bad luck or their own bad driving. And in their emotional storm, they almost seem to forget that you're there. You were hoping to tell them about what it's been like for you with your broken foot, but they already feel so terrible, maybe you can't bring yourself to do it. What do you do as they dissolve into tears? Number 4. When you tell them they backed over your foot and broke it, they're surprised and concerned. They put their car keys away and ask you to tell them more. They bring over a chair so you can get off the crutches and place a bottle of water beside you in case you get thirsty as you share your story. And so you talk. And whenever you fall into silence, they wait patiently for you to continue. And as you tell them about all the pain and inconvenience of the past few weeks, all the trouble and strife you've endured, they listen closely with obvious compassion. You may feel so relieved at their reaction, how present they are with you, that you don't even realize at first that they're struggling with feelings of sorrow and shame. When they look into your eyes, you can see that they understand. What is it like for you to feel seen by this person? to know that they wanted to know the magnitude of your pain and inconvenience, and that they cared enough to stop what they were doing, pull up a chair, and offer their full attention and compassion. What do you feel now toward this person who broke your foot? As I said, these are idealized, simplistic storylines. Number 1, you're ignored. Number 2, they get angry and defensive. Number 3, they're overwhelmed by their own feelings. And number 4, they listen and offer compassion. In real life, it's never that black and white. In real life, you might get some combination of all 4 responses to varying degrees, or different responses on different days from the same person. But each individual scenario illustrates an aspect of interaction that either keeps estrangement in place or begins to heal it. To process a letter from your estranged adult child, start with your emotional reaction to it. Don't try to control your feelings or rush to reply. Instead, take enough time to give compassionate attention to your real emotions, whatever they are, until they become less acute. You may always feel a certain emotion, but your relationship to that emotion can change. Paradoxically, when we give our troubling feelings enough loving attention, we become the boss of those feelings and not the other way around. Ignoring emotions only makes them stronger, giving them too much power over us. Once again, read Constructive Wallowing to learn more about this and to do some guided practice. Once you've given your emotions sufficient loving attention, then try the thought experiment in this episode with your adult child's letter. No matter what they say or how they say it, imagine they're trying to tell you that you backed over their foot and broke it. Have you been ignoring their claim? Have you allowed their story to trigger your defenses and make you feel like a bad parent? Have you taken on their pain to the point where yours is overwhelming? Can you now find a way to marshal those initial reactions and listen to the story behind all the emotions? The one with no good guys or bad guys, just someone taking a walk in the neighborhood and someone else backing out of their driveway the best they knew how. Processing a letter well usually takes time. The sooner you respond to any letter or text or email, the more convinced your adult child will be that you didn't really process what they had to say, that you're doing whatever it is they think you always do. So really feel free to take your time. Pull up a chair, have some water nearby in case you get thirsty, and let your own story unfold within you. Be that person for yourself who listens well and deeply, who cares about what you've been through. We're most able to listen to the pain of others when our own has been heard, understood, and treated with compassion. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.